Welcome to another Luck Scout bedtime story. In a distant valley surrounded by steep mountains and deep forests, there lay a small village where the people lived in constant fear. For centuries a terrible monster had haunted the area, living in a dark cave high in the mountains. The creature was enormous and terrifying, with eyes that glowed like embers in the night and a roar that could shake the very earth. It terrorized the village, stealing cattle and sheep, leaving the people in fear of losing everything they had worked so hard to protect. The villagers had long believed in an ancient superstition that anyone who tried to fight the monster would bring bad luck and misfortune upon the village. Legends told of brave souls who had once attempted to slay the beast only to meet terrible fates. And so, over the years, the people stopped fighting, choosing instead to offer sacrifices to the monster, hoping to appease it and avoid its wrath. But there was one young man in the village named Leaf who refused to accept this way of life. Life had grown up hearing stories of the monster, watching as his family and neighbors lived in fear, surrendering their livestock to the beast without ever standing up to it. He knew deep in his heart that the village could never be truly free until the monster was defeated, and he was determined to be the one to put an end to its reign of terror. Though others warned him not to fight, calling him foolish and reckless, Leif made a decision one quiet night under the stars. He would face the monster and free his people, no matter the cost. Life's determination grew stronger with each passing day. He could no longer stand the sight of his people cowering in fear, giving in to the belief that they were doomed to live under the shadow of the monster forever. He believed that the superstition surrounding the beast was nothing more than fear wrapped in old myths. It wasn't bad luck that brought ruin to those who faced the monster. It was fear that held them back. With the weight of his decision heavy on his heart, Leif began preparing for the battle. He crafted a strong, sturdy sword from the finest metal he could find, and he trained tirelessly, honing his strength and sharpening his skills. The villagers watched with both awe and fear as Leif readied himself, some calling him brave, others calling him reckless. "You're bringing misfortune to the village," some whispered. "Fighting the monster will only make things worse." But Leif didn't listen. He knew that doing nothing was far worse than facing the beast. He knew that if no one stood up to the monster, it would continue to terrorize the village for generations to come. He wasn't interested in the old superstitions. He was interested in freedom. One early morning, as the sun began to rise, casting a golden light over the valley, Leif set out toward the cave, his sword at his side, his heart steady, and his resolve stronger than ever. Leif's journey to the cave was long and treacherous. The path wound through dense forests and up the steep slopes of the mountain, where the wind howled and the air grew thin. But he never faltered, his focus on the dark cave that loomed ahead, the cave where the monster waited. As he approached the mouth of the cave, the air grew colder and the silence became eerie. The villagers had always spoken of how the very earth seemed to tremble near the cave, as if the mountain itself was afraid of the creature that dwelled within. But Leif pressed forward, his heart pounding in his chest as he stepped into the darkness. The cave was vast and shadowy, its walls jagged and ancient. The air inside was thick with the smell of damp earth and the faint lingering stench of the monster's lair. Life could hear the distant sound of breathing, heavy, deep, and menacing. He knew the creature was near. Suddenly a pair of glowing eyes appeared in the darkness, and a low growl echoed through the cave. The ground beneath Life's feet trembled as the monster emerged from the shadows, towering over him, its monstrous form illuminated by the dim light that filtered in from the cave's entrance. The beast was as fearsome as the stories had said, its skin rough like stone, and its claws sharp as blades. But Leif didn't hesitate. With a fierce cry he charged at the monster, his sword gleaming as he struck the first blow. The battle was intense. The monster roared and slashed at Leif with its claws, but he dodged and parried, his movements swift and precise. The cave echoed with the sounds of their clash, but Leif's resolve never wavered. After what felt like an eternity, Leif saw an opening. With one final powerful strike he drove his sword deep into the monster's heart. The beast let out a deafening roar before collapsing to the ground, its reign of terror finally brought to an end. The cave fell silent, and Leif stood victorious, breathing heavily as the weight of what he had done settled over him. Leif emerged from the cave just as the sun began to set, its golden light casting long shadows over the valley below. The villagers, who had gathered anxiously at the base of the mountain, watched in stunned silence as Leif approached, his sword in hand, and the monster's reign of terror over. At first, they couldn't believe what they were seeing. They had spent generations believing that the monster was invincible, that anyone who dared to face it would only bring bad luck and misfortune upon the village. But Leif had proven them wrong. He had faced the beast, fought it, and won. As Leif reached the village, the people began to cheer. Their fear had been replaced with awe and gratitude, and they realized that the old superstitions had been nothing more than chains holding them back. Leif had shown them that it wasn't bad luck or misfortune that had kept the monster alive. It was their own fear and hesitation. And now, because of his courage and determination, they were free. Leif stood before the villagers, his heart swelling with pride, not because he had defeated the monster, but because he had freed his people from the fear that had ruled them for so long. He had shown them that true strength came from within, and that when you rely on your own courage and resilience, you can overcome even the darkest of challenges. In the days that followed, the village flourished. No longer living in fear of the monster, the people rebuilt their lives with a new sense of hope and possibility. The cattle and sheep roamed freely, the children played without fear, and the once haunted valley became a place of peace. Leif, now a hero in the eyes of the village, continued to live a quiet life. He didn't seek fame or glory, for his greatest victory had not been in slaying the monster, it had been in freeing his people from the chains of superstition and fear. He had shown them that they were not doomed to live in terror, and that when you rely on your own strength, you can overcome anything. As you lie in your bed tonight, dear Luck Scouter, remember the story of Leif and the monster of the cave. No matter what challenges you face, no matter how terrifying the obstacles may seem, know that you have the strength within you to overcome them. Don't let fear or superstition hold you back, and don't wait for someone else to fight your battles. Trust in your own courage and know that with determination and resilience you can conquer any monster that stands in your way.